And remember, the most important thing is you're conveying an emotion, what you felt, what you saw, what it looked like to you. You're conveying those things to your viewer. That's what a great photograph does. Okay,
So
so we'll take these one at a time. This is the introduction to the cycle of photography, which covers, the 5 steps of what it takes to make an excellent photograph. And here you can see what's in that course. There's a little picture of me and some of the stuff I cover, what you'll learn, all the details you need. And you
and
can
here's
see
what
we've
it'll
done a,
look like when you purchase.
yeah, you can get the, any one of these courses, we've reduced them down for the Labor Day sale to $27. Come on. What does it cost to go to a movie, right? A lot more than $27 by the time you add up 2 tickets, refreshments, going out to dinner ahead of time, maybe getting a babysitter. You could be up there all, to 2 or 3 courses by the time you're done with one movie. And this is going to move you as a photographer from whatever level you are to the next level. Remember, it's called advancing your photography. That's a continuous process. So the next one is the key to a photograph is visualization. Again, there's a whole course just on that, right? Next one is understanding your camera essentials. What goes on in one of these cameras? How does it work? What do you really need to know? Because there's a lot of stuff, frankly, you don't need to know everything in there. When you look at a modern camera and all the menus and go to the user's manual, there's a lot of stuff you're never going to use, but you need to know. There's about 12 things you need to know practically instinctively, and that's what we cover in here, okay? You don't want to do what Bob Holmes said, is let the camera get in the way of your photographs. Have you ever had that happen? I have. I'm fiddling with something, a photograph appears, and it disappears just like that. Because many photographs are going to be there for a split second. So you want to know your camera backwards and forwards. And the next one is, guess what? How to capture your image. Now, capturing has 2 parts to it. It's composition, what you do within the frame of your photograph to tell your story, and lighting. And how you use those 2 things is what capturing is all about. So what we're doing in capturing is we're blending the visualization step with using your camera, going to the next step of capturing that image. Wow. Okay. Then we go to developing your images in Lightroom. Now, even though I call it developing your images in Lightroom, you can transpose this to whatever editing platform you're using. And we actually can give you some help doing that. So if you're not using Lightroom, you're still going to learn the tools that can help you with processing your images. In the darkroom days, of course, we had to develop our images. There was no back of a camera to look at. You had to take it into the darkroom, first develop the film. Then the magic really happened when you used your enlarger and you made a print. You went through the 3 stages of development. There's a developer tray. That's where it comes to life. Wow, is that exciting all of a sudden? Woo, there it is. Then you stop the development, then you fix it so it doesn't fade. And then you dry the print, and eventually you have a print. Well, in the digital darkroom, we make that a lot easier. But it's really helpful to actually know those stages. So developing your images in Lightroom. And the final stage, so super important, is getting your images out to the world. Do not let them accumulate on your hard drive or in a shoebox or on a shelf or wherever they accumulate. We want to get your stuff out to the world. And you've heard me say this over and over again. Your best and first starting point is to make prints. That's why we love working with Bay Photo, and thank you for sponsoring us. How to get your work out to the world. So each one of these is a separate course, you guys. You can pick the one that you're most interested in now, get it, and later on you can add the other ones. It's kind of like going to iTunes and picking the track that you want out of an album. And later on you can add the other tracks if you want. Okay, Jared, let's see what else we got in this universe. Mastering the genres. This is really cool, guys. So, whatever photography genre you're into, you should know skills from any one of them. Like, for instance, you can learn stuff from a portrait photographer like Bambi Cantrell that you can use in shooting anything, in shooting your friends. You know, you're not thinking I'm a official portrait photographer, or even in street photography. So you're going to learn from these people who have mastered each one of these genres. People like Camille Seaman, who's an amazing landscape photographer, unbelievable. You're going to learn her skills. You're going to learn about how to photograph children. In your life as a photographer, I guarantee you, you're going to be called upon for whatever reason. Mark, can you photograph my kids or your own kids or your grandchildren? You got to know, like, here's the skills. Same thing with sports. You may not consider yourself a sports photographer per se, but there's going to be a time where you do need to pull out that skill set and go out and photograph. How do you get a good sports photograph? Well, it's all in there, guys. So this next course is just overall advancing your photography. And it's basically taking all those pieces again and putting them together. These are separate from what you just saw. Photography composition tools, further stuff, giving you more tools in terms of composition. Yep, we broke that all down. On the composition, that comes from my book, The Secrets to Amazing Photo Composition, which has 2 parts. Part 1 gives you a whole series of compositional tools, or consider them recipes. Just like in cooking, you got to start with a recipe. So the first half gives you those recipes. The second half gives you what we call mood lines. These are lines that give you emotional impact. Because the whole thing, you guys, the secret to a photograph, there's more than one secret. One, you got to visualize it, but you also need to add emotion to it. Anything, any form of art has to have an emotional impact, or else it's kind of like, so what, right? That's the difference between a snapshot, which just records whatever you saw. Here's a picture of Yosemite, click, to something that actually has mood and emotion into it. A mood is how you feel about it. And there's all these different mood lines that you can learn. And then when you start learning them, you think with, what am I trying to tell with this story? Am I trying to show people really active? Or am I trying to show them stable? Or am I trying to show them unstable? Whatever it is in your mood, you can use these mood lines. Super cool set of tools. And then we have...
I'd actually like to say one quick thing about this one. If
Yeah,
you have not studied about the mood lines and such, this is about the only place you're going to find it, because Mark took this concept from non-photography
that's right.
resources and has applied it. So literally no one else is talking about this in the photography world, because Mark adapted this for the photography world. So if you have not checked this one out, would highly recommend it. You're not going to see this from other photographers.
This is true. Yes, thanks for bringing that up. I mean, this is really true. I spent a lot of time breaking these compositional tools down. You know what I found, what I have actually found, is that most photographers have a vocabulary, because that's one way of looking at these tools. They have a vocabulary of about 5 compositional tools. They know they can shoot, landscape. They can shoot portraiture. They know something maybe about a leading line. Maybe they know, 2 or 3 other tools, but they tend to stay stuck in that rut. It would be like being a chef and you only know 5 recipes. It's like me. You can cook an omelet. I can cook pesto. You can cook French toast. You've got your 5 things and that's it. Well, you're not going to make an incredible meal unless you have a variety. You have a way of switching it up and going, I'm going to shoot from a completely different angle. Like, for instance, most people shoot from eye level. What happens when you get low? What happens when you get high? What happens when you shoot even overhead? These tell different emotions, and there are different ways of emphasizing your subject. That's all in these courses, you guys. Please subscribe and enable the bell so you don't miss any of our new shows. Like the video and please share it and leave your comments. I love hearing from you. And remember to get out and capture your own images of life.